All right, grade 8, we're getting in here into chapter 3. We're going to be looking a little bit at transversals and things like that, talking about parallel lines and all those sorts of things. So the first part of what we're looking at here tells us to use the figure to find the measures of the numbered angles. Well, first of all, we want to make sure we understand, and my drawings are never perfect, but we want to make sure we understand that these two lines are parallel, which means they will never cross, they will never intersect, they will keep going in both left and right, both lines, they will keep going, and they will never touch, they will never cross. That makes them parallel. This line here is a transversal, which means it is a line that crosses another line. So this is a line that intersects these two. This line here is what we refer to as the transversal. The other thing that this lesson assumes that we understand, and as 8th graders we should understand, is that a straight angle, which is essentially a straight line, is equivalent to 180 degrees. This lesson assumes that that's something we already know. A straight angle is 180 degrees, but I want to remind you of that so you're not wondering where all of a sudden we're getting these numbers from. So this first one says, use the figure to find the measures of the numbered angles. Well, first of all, if these two lines are parallel, then I know that I have corresponding angles here, which means that 1 is equivalent to 5, 4 is equivalent to 6, 2 is equivalent to this angle here. So I already know I can just go ahead and write down angle 2 equals 74 degrees. And then angle 3 corresponds with angle 7. I also know that opposite angles are equal. And so my job here is to find out what every numbered angle means. I already know that this angle is 74. So I need to find the values of angles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now, I already know that 2 corresponds with this one. So angle 2 is 74 degrees. I also should know as an 8th grader that opposite angles are congruent. Vertical angles or opposite angles are congruent. So if this angle is 74, the one opposite of it, angle 6, is also 74. So angle 6 is equal to 74 degrees. But then if angle 6 is 74 degrees, angle 4, which we already established corresponds with angle 6, is also equivalent to 74 degrees. All right, now, like we said, this also assumes that we understand that this straight angle is 180 degrees. So if this angle is 74, that means to find angle 5, if the whole straight angle is 180, and I take away this 74, which is what this angle is, the difference is going to be what angle 5 is. Now, you can just plug this into your calculator, but to kind of go at old style, I can't do 0 minus 4, so I cross off the 8, make it a 7, make that 0 a 10, 10 minus 4 is 6, 7 minus 7 is nothing, 1 minus nothing is 1. I get 106. So that tells me that angle 5 equals 106 degrees, which also tells me that its corresponding angle up here, angle 1, is also 106 degrees. But if opposite angles are equal and angle 5 is 106 degrees, then its opposite angle, angle 7, must also be 106 degrees, which then, as the circle continues, the corresponding angle to angle 7, which is angle 3, must also be 106 degrees. That's not hard, 8th grade. You're going to be able to handle that with no problem at all. All right, moving right along. The second part of what we're doing here in chapter 3.1. Complete the statement, explain your reasoning. I'm not going to require any explanation of your reasoning. Mr. Swack believes that if you can get the right answer, then you understand the reasoning behind it. And so that suffices to me, that you understand the reasoning behind it if you're able to get the answer. So complete the statement, explain your reasoning, but really we're just completing the statement. Here, once again, we have another transversal figure. We have two lines, A and B. Once again, it's not perfect, but we are envisioning that A and B are perfectly straight. A and B are also parallel, which means they will never intersect. They'll keep going up and never cross. They'll keep going down and never cross. We are looking here at these angles, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And that's what we're dealing with. This is the symbol for angle. So number 1 is saying, if angle 1 is 127 degrees, then angle 4 is. Okay, well, first of all, we want to see, we need to understand once again that this straight angle is 180 degrees. And so if angle 1 is 127 degrees, then I can see that this is an acute angle. Angle 1 is an obtuse angle. I can see that, which means it's greater than 90, which is why they're saying it's 127. Angle 4 is an acute angle, less than 90, but the whole thing is 180. So basically, I can take that 180, I can subtract the 127, which is angle 1. You can just punch it into your calculator. But to go old school, I can't do 0 minus 7, borrow from the 8, make it a 7. 10 minus 7 is 3, 7 minus 2 is 5, 1 minus 1 is nothing. That tells me then that angle 4 is 53 degrees. So I'll come over here and put 53 degrees. Number 2, if angle 4 is 72 degrees, then angle 2 is blank. So I come over here, if angle 4 is 72 degrees, once again I see the acute angle, 72 degrees, then angle 2, which I also see is an acute angle, and we want to remember our corresponding angles. 4 is going to correspond to 5, 8 is going to correspond with 1, 7 is going to correspond with 2, 3 is going to correspond with 6 in the same location, just on opposite sides. So then I also know that because 4 and 7 are opposite, they're going to be equal or congruent. And since 2 and 5 and 1 and 6 and 3 and 8 are all opposite of each other, they're going to be congruent with each other. 3 and 8, 2 and 5, 6 and 1. So if angle 4 is 72 degrees, which means that angle 7 then is also going to be 72 degrees. And if angle 7 corresponds with angle 2, then that means angle 2 is also going to be 72 degrees. So if angle 4 is 72 degrees, then angle 2 is 72 degrees. Not hard. If angle 3 is 127 and 3/10, 127.3 degrees, then angle 5 is blank. So angle 3 is 127.3 degrees. And so I know that angle 3 is adjacent to, that means next to, which means they combine to be 180. So 3 is adjacent to 4, and 4 is what we match up with 5. It corresponds with 5. So I know, since 5 is the acute angle, 3 is the obtuse angle, that to find 4, I would have to take 180 minus 127.3, and that would give me the measurement to angle 4, because that's adjacent to angle 3. And if angle 4 is equivalent to angle 5 because they correspond, then it would just make sense that I would do 180.0 minus 127.3. Borrow from the 8, make it a 7, make that 0 a 10, cross it off, make it a 9, make that 0 a 10. 10 minus 3 is 7, drop the decimal down. 9 minus 7 is 2, 7 minus 2 is 5, 1 minus 1 is nothing. I get 52.7. So if angle 3 is 127.3, then angle 5 is 52.7. The last one, number 4, if angle 7 is 48.27 degrees, then angle 6 is. So we come over here, angle 7. If angle 7 is 48.27 degrees, then angle 6 is. Well, I know to figure out angle 3 then, I would do 180 minus 48.27. If 6, which corresponds with 3, they're equivalent, so it would just make sense then that I would do 180, and I'll add my 2 decimals, minus 48.27, so minus 48.27. Once again, I'm going to borrow from the 8, make that a 7, make that 0 a 10, cross it off, make it a 9, make that 0 a 10, cross it off, make it a 9, make that 0 a 10. 10 minus 7 is 3, 9 minus 2 is 7. Drop the decimal down, 9 minus 8 is 1, 7 minus 4 is 3, 1 minus nothing is 1. 131.73 degrees. If angle 7 is 48.27 degrees, then angle 6 is 131.73 degrees. All right, we'll talk to you later, 8th grade. This is lesson 3.1. Bye.